Manoj, how brilliant to see you again.
Hello,
It's
Michael.
been a, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, been like a few years since we first met, but we've been keeping track of what we've been doing, right?
So today I want to have that experience where we have a chat and it's almost like we're sat on a table and there's some people on the next table whose conversation isn't as good as ours. So they're having a little listen in and they want to hear what Michael and Manoj are talking about. So are you up for having a conversation like
Yes,
that?
absolutely. Let's have a
So
chat.
I met you a few years ago, and I was first of all amazed by first of all what you want to do and your goals. We'll come to that in a moment, but the fact that you were a very successful spinal surgeon,
Yes.
and with this incredible talent, and then you decide to stop doing that. Now a lot of people can't get their heads around why you would do that. Why did you decide on this different route and this different track?
It's like if you know something that can, like, suppose you had a secret to the COVID pandemic, you couldn't keep it to yourself. Your conscience just won't let you see. So I feel that it's not my secret, of course. The wisdom is in the world, but I think that there is some wisdom that could end suffering in the world. And I feel that I've been given the gifts to be in a position to take that and share that with others. So, and particularly with children, I'm so passionate about young people. And I feel they already have this wisdom. I spent 5 years talking to kids before we started the Human Wisdom Project and this HappierMe app. And they're just so incredibly beautiful. And yet we're just stuffing their heads with all the stuff we know instead of saying, hey, let's draw out the wisdom you already have, which is incredibly beautiful. And I
Yeah.
feel so passionate that this deeper understanding of ourselves could have so many benefits in the world, which is why I gradually transitioned out of medicine. And my biggest critic was my mother. She said, what are you doing? You're leaving a really well paid job and getting paid nothing, and you've no idea what the future holds. What are you doing? And of course, when you have passion, you just keep going, right?
Yeah, but mothers never stop being mothers.
No.
My mum worries about what I do all the time. She doesn't know what I do. She just worries about it, and kind of says things like, Michael, have you got enough work on?" And I'll say, "Yeah, Mum, I've got loads of work on. We're really busy. Well, don't work too hard." And then another time she'll say, "Have you got a lot of work on?" And I'll say, "Well, it's quite quiet at the moment. Will you be all right? Can you pay your mortgage?" I'm like, "Mum, I'm going to be okay. It's absolutely fine."
Yeah.
But you started something. You mentioned there the Human Wisdom Project. So let's
Yes.
start with that. Tell us a little bit about that. What does that mean?
Okay. So what it means is that that's the words are chosen deliberately. That means it's something for all human beings, which all human beings can contribute to. See, suppose you and I are looking at the moon together. I might see one part of it, you'll see another part of it. We share what we're learning. And together, this understanding of the moon grows and grows until, and that's what human beings have done for centuries. That's what science has built. All we're saying is, let's look at the mind that you and I share, that all of us share. And let's do the same process, but looking inwards instead. So I might see something, you'll see something, we'll share, we'll learn, we'll grow as human beings. I mean, and it's just starts with something simple, like asking why. Like Isaac Newton saw this apple fall from a tree and asked why, discovered gravity, became a great scientist. So we can explore things like what's behind fear, or how does fear shape our lives? And ask, share that and learn, grow. Can you imagine what our lives would be like if we lived without irrational fear? You know,
Yeah.
see?
So, and I think the lovely thing that you've done is I hear and that's very inspiring. I get that, but I think it's the framework behind it. I think what you've done is you've gone right. Yeah, we want to ask better questions. Yes, we want to listen more. Yes, we want to open our minds to different possibilities. But there's a framework,
Yes,
and that's I know you mentioned about talking to kids. You
yes,
didn't just sit and talk to kids. You had questioning techniques, and
Yes.
when you do sessions with people, you have methodology. So tell me about some of that methodology that helps us to have this better way of thinking.
Okay. That's a really good question, Michael. Thank you. So I think it starts with having a mind that's relatively quiet, because our minds are constantly busy, running at 100 miles per hour from morning to night. So the first step is do something to quieten your mind. And there are lots of things out there, some breathing exercises, some meditations, walk in nature, whatever, journaling. And then it's just about observing what's happening. And it's a 3-step process. So suppose you're angry. So the first step is to notice you're angry. The second step is to take ownership of that anger. That's the hard step. Not to blame Michael or myself, but just say, I'm curious. I'm angry. It's coming from my mind. It's a reaction from mine. I'm just going to find out what's behind it. So ownership is the hard one, because my mind is always blaming somebody for what I'm feeling. The third step is to ask a question. Hey, what's behind that? And then you realize, oh my God, I have an expectation that wasn't met. I wasn't even aware of that expectation. Where did that come from? And so on, you see? So that's the framework. It's a 3-step process of learning about yourself. It's really simple.
So it's one of those things I go immediately, oh yeah, I'm going to remember to do that. The challenge is we have crazy busy lives.
Yes.
There's stuff happening all the time. We're being interrupted. This pops up with a new message. I get something here, something there. And then I need something that's going to help me to remember to do this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when you said to me, Michael, we've created an app to help people.
Yes.
To make it a part of your life.
Yes.
I got very excited. So tell me about the app that's going to help us to do this process and a lot more.
Okay. So the app is a dynamic space. It's part of the Human Wisdom project. And again, it's constantly evolving. Like a 10-year-old girl will say something to me and I'll say, oh my God, that's really amazing. And it goes in the app. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
everybody can contribute. That's why it's called the Human Wisdom project. That's the first thing. So it's not the Manoj Krishna, it doesn't come from a book or anything like that. And then it gives you the tools to live your best life. Can you imagine living a life without suffering, where you have no conflict in your relationships, where you're not a statistic, where you're, part of a group that becomes addicted to things, and so on. So it prompts you every day to say, hey, what did you learn about yourself? Or what have you got to be grateful for? So there's a reason for you to come back to the app. And there's more than 70 plus modules. And it's not just a mental health app, but it's also about relationships. Because, our happiness depends on the quality of our relationships.
Undoubtedly, yeah.
And nobody teaches us how to have great relationships, right, from childhood. So it's about relationships, it's about addiction, it's about learning soft skills to succeed at work. 80%, somewhere I was reading, 80% of our success in life is based on our emotional intelligence, soft skills, communication, all of that, right? And they don't teach that anywhere. But all of that comes again from self-awareness, which is what the app is doing. So if you want to really make the most of your life, begin your own journey, learn about yourself, how your mind works, and apply that to every aspect of your life. And the app makes it simpler. So it's your companion for a happier life.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Your companion.
Yes.
Someone who's always on your side.
Yes.
That's fantastic. So what makes this different from some of the other things that we might have seen? Because it's more, you think about things like mindfulness and there's an app for that, or you think about setting goals, there's an app for that. What makes yours different? Why would I want to download it, pay for it and use it?
Okay. The first thing is prevention is so much easier. Right? So this is one of the few apps that helps prevent problems before they arise. And who wouldn't want that? Like we get up in the morning and we brush our teeth every day. so in 50 years we'll have healthy teeth, right? Similarly, if you can take the same philosophy and apply it, you're learning about yourself and how your mind works so you can avoid all the problems that the world is seeing right now. We can go into that if you like. So prevention is number one. Secondly, it's not just a band-aid. So mindfulness is great, but it's good for today.
Mm.
It's a band-aid for how you're feeling today. And so the app includes mindfulness, but it goes deeper to help you understand what's going on underneath that. I'll give you one simple example. Say the neighbor has a new car, which you can't afford, and you start feeling jealous and you think your wife is less than them and you get angry with them and you think they're showing off. Or it's a holiday, whatever it could be. So I do the mindfulness, I feel less angry, I feel better today. But tomorrow I go to work and someone gets a promotion over me, and then the same thing kicks off, you see. But what the app does, it helps you understand why you feel that way. And then you realize your mind's comparing all the time without your own awareness or your permission. So the awareness puts you in charge. And then you say, okay, I'm only going to compare myself with others when it serves me. And so you're free for the long term. So long-term solutions, that's the second thing.
Yeah.
The third thing is it's one solution for many problems. All the mindfulness and meditation apps are mainly around stress, anxiety, and sleep. But this app is also about relationships, addiction, bereavement, eating disorders, soft skills, communication, leadership, all of that. And lastly, is going to be one app for all ages. So there'll be a section for children, teenagers, parents, and adults. So it's not,
Wow.
you don't have to go elsewhere. So a whole family can journey together, you see.
Amazing. Amazing. I want to go into some of those areas in a little more detail in a second, but while we've just got this bigger view, two words that come up all the time when I'm talking to people: stress, anxiety.
Yes.
Yeah. And linked with that, overwhelm, I guess, as well.
Yes.
So when you look at that, can the app help me with those particular feelings that I have, or anyone
So,
may have?
yeah. So what we do is we start off and do what every other app does, which is breathing, meditation. We have a few extra things like nature meditations and things like that. So we'll help you feel better now. And then we'll give you an invitation. Hey, would you like to feel better tomorrow and next week as well? And the next month and 3 months' time? If you want to do that, then you have to understand what's happening inside. So you see, when you're stressed, if you slow it all down, two things are happening. There's a trigger on the outside, and there's my mind reacting on the inside. But my mind doesn't see the reaction. All it sees is the trigger, what someone has said or whatever's happened on the outside.
Yeah.
So what the app does is helps you understand why your mind's reacting in that way. So you take charge of that reaction. See? So the challenge remains the same, but your mind, there's no storm in your mind when you're dealing with that challenge. Your mind is at peace, it's calm. And then you can respond in a much more intelligent way, right? If you've got a challenge. So it's not that, so you change, and therefore your stress changes, your anxiety changes, all of that changes. It's the inner work you're doing on yourself that brings transformation.
I just love that concept of, if you want to make a better decision, start by calming the storm in your mind.
Yes.
It's very difficult to make good decisions when you are fighting the storm.
Yes.
It feels like survival then.
Yes.
So yeah, calm the storm, then make the better
Then
decision.
make the decision. Because right now what happens is this whole process is automatic and unconscious. We're not aware. It's an automatic reaction, and the reaction comes from all our memory. Everything that's happened to us in the past is involved in that decision, in the reaction. So all we're saying is this understanding and this approach in this app puts you in charge of your own mind.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want that,
Well, we all do, undoubtedly. You mentioned as well about families doing things together. Relationships I guess all relationships are just massive, whether that's a friendship,
Yes.
whether it's a significant other, relationship with your kids, with your siblings, with your parents, your next door neighbors. This is a huge area. So how can the app help me with my relationships?
So there's a huge section on relationships. And what we're saying is to understand, once you start understanding what your mind is doing. So, for example, say you and I are in a relationship. We both bring lots of expectations to the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
but we're not even aware of those expectations. All I know is if an expectation is not met, I blame you for how I'm feeling. Then I get hurt, I get angry, I withdraw. You don't know why I've withdrawn and got angry, so you withdraw, and the whole negative spiral begins. By shining a light on what's happening in the back room of our own minds, we can then begin to realize, I've got all these expectations. I can ask Michael in a nice, kind way. Michael can ask me in a kind way. Once I become aware of them, I can say, for example, 8 out of 10 of them I can get rid of. They're unreasonable. Like, why should I expect my wife to do all the cooking, for example, and so on, right?
Yeah, because
So
she's
it's
brilliant
just,
at it.
yeah, just understanding your own expectations and
Yeah.
so on. So it's just realizing how your mind is working, that you, and that then brings a different conversation to the relationship.
Yeah. That thing about expectations, though, Manoj, is so true in relationships. Everybody expects, oh, if my friends are gonna do this for me. If I send a text, they'll respond straight back, or a WhatsApp. They're gonna like my things that I put on Instagram or whatever. And when that doesn't happen, there's this sort of feeling of, oh, there's something missing.
Yes,
That brilliant thing that you said there is just saying, and then you take it, right, and then the spiral starts.
yes, yes,
It's nipping that in the bud, I guess. It's finding the moment when before it happens.
yes.
And I guess that's that bit about recognizing internally what you're doing, and then going back to the very first point about taking ownership. And
Taking
that's really
ownership,
hard.
really hard. So when you feel hurt, take ownership of your hurt and
Mm,
be curious as to what's behind it. Why did you get hurt? And of course, there's an expectation, which comes from your own conditioning, whatever it might be. And then to respond to hurt with intelligence. If we could do that, our
yeah.
relationships would be just so much happier. I can then
Wow.
communicate. I can say, Michael, I felt hurt. We can explore it rather than just me lashing out or withdrawing or giving you the silent treatment or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So many relationships break up because people don't know how to respond to the feeling of hurt with intelligence.
Brilliant. Did you also say that um within the app there's things to help with addiction?
Yes. 1 in 6 people in America have a substance abuse disorder, and I'm sure it's the same everywhere in the world. 107,000 people a year die in America last year from substance abuse, more than all the wars since the Second World War. Amazing. Just look at that
Wow.
stat, right? But we never ask one simple question. What's going on in our mind that makes it prone to addiction?
Yeah.
See, once you become aware of that, and by the way, it just doesn't have to be alcohol and drugs. It could be, the phone, could be gambling, could be anything.
Yeah.
And then you realize it's only 3 things that drive addiction. The first is conditioning. Like if everyone else is doing drugs, then I want to do drugs as well because I'm influenced and I'm not aware of that.
Yeah.
Or because my mind is restless, I'm bored, I don't know what to do. So start drinking. And before you know it, a glass of wine has become a bottle of wine, and it goes on.
Yeah.
And the third, most important reason is because we're trying to escape or numb our own emotional pain, which we don't know how to deal with or process. So I'm a friend of mine who I've done a beautiful interview with. He's now in his 50s, but he had 30 years as an addict. And he said it started when he was a teenager because he felt less than others. And alcohol was a way of making him numb that pain. And of course, then it gradually developed into an addiction, which, trapped him for 30 odd years. So
Wow.
if we can learn what's going on and find better ways of addressing these issues, we can avoid addiction. Imagine, for every addict, there's about 30 odd other people who are suffering, right? Not just the addict. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The costs to just American society are $1.5 trillion a year. This is a US Congressional Committee report. And you can just say that number gets, is the same the world over. But that's the extent of the suffering and the cost. And it's something that we can avoid if we had this wisdom, if you like, for
Yeah.
want of a better word, right?
Wow. I mean, that's staggering. You would need to, I guess, want or recognize the addiction and then want to change it.
Yes.
So there needs to be an area of self-discovery, I guess, as well within the app. Now,
I mean,
self-discovery
yeah, if
normally,
you
go on.
sorry, go on. No, go on.
Well, I was just saying, self-discovery normally happens because there's a moment, isn't there? There's something happens.
Yes.
My experience of people who were addicts and then decided that they really want to do something about it, there was a moment, and they can go back to that moment. It was when I woke up like this, or when I realized that, or when my partner said, if that phone's more important than me, that's it, I'm out. And
Yes.
then they did go. There was something that happened. How do we not get to that point?
Yes. Yes. So I'd say two things. Firstly, for the person who wants to give up smoking, there are lots of ways to give up smoking. That's what all doctors say when you go in. You say, do you want to give up? Then I can give you lots of things. I can't make you want to. So you have to find that own reason for yourself. That's number one, as you just said.
Yeah,
I'd say for the severe addict, this app is not good enough. You need professional help.
yeah,
But where it excels is in prevention and in the mild to moderate case of
yeah,
addiction. See, where you're gradually going down that slope. See?
yeah.
So, but again, the answer is the same. We're only teaching one thing: understand your own mind.
Hmm.
But it's going to help you be less stressed, less anxious, have happier relationships, be happier, avoid addiction, all of that, you see. So it doesn't have to be, could be any one of those reasons. You begin your journey of learning about yourself and how your mind works.
Yeah,
But then you discover your own inner light, Michael, and you can shine in the world. That's the
yeah.
beauty of this whole thing, right?
Gosh, isn't it worth it?
It is
Isn't it worth it
absolutely.
to spend a bit of time asking those questions and understanding and almost slowing down so you can speed up
Yes, yes.
to,
And
to
if
do better
everybody
stuff?
wants to succeed in the world, right?
Yeah,
This is a way of becoming emotionally intelligent because that's going to contribute 80% to your success in the world,
yeah. Well,
more
I
than
mean,
your
that's,
degrees and all that.
yeah. So no matter where you are in life, so if you're the boss, you're a leader, you're a head of a department or whatever, having that understanding of yourself
Yes,
to help you to lead others and understanding how other people might be. I mean, this would be brilliant in business, I guess.
yes, absolutely. The US Surgeon General says 76% of employees have a mental health problem. Can you imagine? Yeah. you know,
Wow.
So all that impacts productivity. 75% of people in companies lack soft skills, and that drains productivity.
Yeah.
There's problems with retention and interpersonal conflict. 85% of employees report some form of interpersonal conflict. And of course, that's impacting productivity.
Yeah.
So if organizations could bring this into the organization and as a mandatory part of your training, they could boost their productivity and the well-being of their staff at the same
Yeah.
time, you know?
I mean, that would be a wonderful ultimate place to get to.
Yes.
Have you got examples of organizations that you've worked with where they've done some of this and they've had successes?
Yes, we worked with some schools, and certainly their staff say that they're much happier and better able to understand each other, become less reactive, and so on. So there are many, many benefits of all this. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just about taking the first step and getting started. Also, it's really simple. It's not complicated, Michael. You know, if a 10-year-old child can understand this, an adult can surely do that.
Well, just sometimes though, the 10-year-old child has the advantage of not being clouded with so much
Yes.
baggage
Yes.
that we hold on to, and so many opinions that we've started to believe about ourselves and about the world and what people are like, and they don't have as much of the cynicism. So give me a first step, something that we could do like right now that would
Okay.
make a difference.
I think the first step is you begin with a breathing exercise. Just calm yourself
I
down.
knew you were going to say that.
It's
Come on,
so
let's
simple.
do it. Let's do a little bit of
Let's
it right
let's
now.
do it. Let's do it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you breathe in to a count of 4, and then you hold it to a count of 2, and you breathe out to a count of 4. That's the first step. There's a second part of this, but let's do this for 30 seconds. Okay.
Okay. So breathing in.
4. Hold to a count of 2. Breathe out slowly to a count of 4. Okay, and now there's a second part to it, which is as you're breathing in, you notice the air going into your nose is a little bit cooler than the air coming out. The air coming out is a little bit warmer. And you just focus on that temperature difference as the air is entering and leaving your nose. And
So
that,
you breathe out through your nose as well.
yes, you're breathing in through your nose and out through your nose, but you're
Okay.
noticing the air going in is a little cooler than the air coming out. Let's do that
Okay.
for See that? It's so simple. And then when your mind is a little bit quiet, then you can start. And you need just 3 simple things. You need curiosity,
Yeah.
which children have. We need to develop that again. We need a mind that's open to learning, not full of conclusions.
Yeah.
Open to learning about ourselves, not judging as right or wrong. And just being curious, asking why. What's going on? Why? What's going on to make me think and feel this way? And the more you understand yourself, the easier it is to understand the other person, because deep down, we're the same human being.
Yeah.
And from that understanding comes love and compassion, which is something the world really needs.
Wow. Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. Okay. So the Human Wisdom Project is the big umbrella.
Yes.
Lots of things going in there. Everybody can access the app. They can get that now. Yes.
Yes.
Available now and constantly evolving.
Yes.
Constantly
We've
developing.
got a new edition coming next week, and it's called HappierMe. It's on all the app stores, or you can go to the website HappierMe.app.
Yeah.
It's free to download and browse. There's no reason why you shouldn't have a look and decide if it's right for you.
Brilliant. So I don't know. It's free.
Well, there's a charge after. There's a 2-week free trial.
Okay,
And then
right.
there's
I
going
think
to
that's
be.
important. let's do it, because what the last thing we want is people to kind of be bitter about the fact that they might have to pay a little bit of
No, no,
something.
no. So there is a payment required. So let me be clear
Yeah,
about it. So it's free to download and browse. So nobody's going to ask you for all that.
yeah.
Once you've decided you want the free trial, then after that, it's £4 a month or 2 coffees a month, depending on where you are in the world. £50 a year.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah, it's 10 or 12 pence a day or something like that. So it's very, very well
Wow.
designed to make money. It's designed to reduce suffering in the world. That's our plan, you know.
Wow, Manos, that's amazing. Do you know, it's one of those things where I had in my head it would have been a sort of a £25 a month subscription or something like that. And you know, the interesting thing is, if you're in pain and somebody said for £250, $250 or whatever, you can get rid of that, you would pay that immediately. If it was an
Yes,
emotional pain, if it was, something linked with all the stuff that we've been talking about,
yes,
what we're saying here is you don't even need to get there.
no,
This is it's the ultimate insurance policy
yes.
to make
Because you
sure
know,
that you're not going to get there.
life is so short, right? You and I know this, you know.
Yeah,
In a blink and it's gone. You want to make the most of it so you can live a happier life without suffering. You don't have to go through all the turmoil. You see,
yeah,
this
amazing.
wisdom can be yours now,
Yeah.
so you can live a richer life.
So, what's the vision? Where do you see this going over the next 5 years, say?
I really, my dream is that every human being has access to this information. And every child in every school in the world has access to this. So maybe we could bring a subject in like self-knowledge alongside maths and science, because that could help address the 80% of people who are stressed or anxious, the 10% who are depressed, the 15% who are addicted, and half of the relationships that are in conflict, and so on. Because education should be preparing young people for life. And right now,
Yeah,
it's not doing that. And with Chat GPT coming along and everything being on our phone anyway,
yeah,
what's the point of stuffing their heads with all this information and asking them to repeat it in an exam, right? So that's
yeah.
one vision, that we bring it into education. But I'd love to set up a peace foundation too, because this could end war. I'll tell you why. It's so simple. Say you're Russian, I'm Ukrainian, or you're Israeli and Palestinian. We're about to kill each other. We pause and we ask one question: why? What are we doing? Then, when we ask why, we realize, I'm Ukrainian because of my conditioning, and you're Russian because of your conditioning. We're both not aware we've been conditioned, and we are both attached to our conditioning. That's the nature of conditioning, see. So immediately we lose our attachment. Doesn't mean we lose our identity, but we lose our attachment to it. Because then we realize much more than that, we're the same human being. We're not going to kill each other no matter what, right? We've never
Yeah.
done anything to each other, you and I. We don't know each other. We're about to kill each other. And we said, why are we doing this? What are we doing in the world? See, we humans are capable, but we're not intelligent. You know, we spend $1.5 trillion on arms every year, and 1 billion people every day go hungry, and several million in this country alone, which is the fifth or sixth richest in the world.
Yeah.
So living with this deeper self-understanding and awakens this wisdom inside us, you see, and that can transform our lives from the inside, so we can live really rich, fulfilling lives.
If anyone is going to champion this and do this, it's got to be you, because every time we talk, it inspires me to be a better me. So I don't want to sit here and say, "Oh, Manoj, you're brilliant," because you are. I know we know that. What you do is you make me realize that actually I'm brilliant. I have
Yeah.
it up there. That I talk about being brilliant, but I forget. I forget about what the questions I can ask and about the impact that can be made, and the things that I overthink and worry about, and all those bits are completely within my grasp.
Yes,
And you
yes,
remind me of that. You
yes,
remind me of it. That's what's so
yes.
brilliant.
You can
Wow.
be the captain of your own ship, and this understanding puts you in charge
Yeah.
of your thoughts, your feelings, your actions in the world. So you can be happier. You know, we all chase success, right? But why do we chase success? Because we hope it's going to make us feel good inside. But it never does. It's an illusion that keeps on getting more distant, right? You get 5 minutes of, fame, and you feel great, and then you're empty again. Whereas with
Yeah.
this understanding, you can have this peace flowing through you on the inside. See what I mean?
Yeah.
You
I
can
do.
sing a song in life then. Your life is a song.
Wow. Manoj, I, I thought we were going to chat for about 20 minutes, and we've chatted for well over 40. This is probably a great pace just to wrap it up.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
going to tell people what to do. It's very simple. Go to HappierMe.app, have a look at the app, download it, test it, see how it's going to work for you. If it is your thing, then for a few pounds a month, it's seems like nothing. It's almost it's a gift. I know for a fact that what you're going to do with that subscription money is you're going to develop more ideas and help more people. So
Yes,
that's a gift as well.
yes.
And I just want to say thank you for everything that you do. It's remarkable. Manoj, you're a star. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you.